Jey Uso betrays Cody Rhodes for the WWE title. WWE SmackDown has massive problems. The Rock had a shocking reason for not appearing at Wrestlepalooza. Triple H and the WWE are punishing Drew McIntyre for attending Vince McMahon's birthday party. The WWE is taking the women's championship off Tiffany Stratton. TNA Wrestling is investigating Masha Slamovich for domestic violence allegations. The WWE confirms Joe Hendry has signed with the company. TNA invades NXT. Deepest condolences to Charlotte Flair. Let's dive right in. SmackDown has massive problems. WWE hyped the SmackDown shift to Fox back in October 2019 like it was the biggest thing ever. They stacked the blue brand with heavy hitters like Brock Lesnar, Charlotte Flair, and Roman Reigns to make it stand toe-to-toe with Raw. Switching over to USA Network brought some ups and downs. Cody Rhodes stepped in as the top guy after Reigns, though John Cena had a short spin with the undisputed WWE title. The in-ring stuff shines in spots like the tag team and United States title scenes. Fresh faces such as Rey Fenix and Aleister Black added real fire. But even with those wins, SmackDown's got plenty of rough edges to smooth out. Here's 5 straightforward fixes to get the blue brand firing on all cylinders. Number 1, ditch Tiffany Stratton's same old rivalries. Crowning Tiffany Stratton as WWE Women's Champion lit a spark under her career. Toppling Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania turned her into a real powerhouse in the women's game. The snag in her run, though, is the endless loop of throwing her at Nia Jax. The Annihilator already tangled with Stratton 3 times and came up short each go. Now she's circling back on SmackDown, this time dragging Jade Cargill into the mix. The creative crew has to dig up new foes. Without a 2025 draft to shake things up, the quick fix is shuffling talent across Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. Rhea Ripley or Roxanne Perez could slide over to the blue side. Jordynne Grace, Fallon Henley, and Lash Legend are primed for the big leagues. Number 2, even out the tag team stacks. Shifting bodies around also means fixing the lopsided tag team scenes on Raw and SmackDown. The blue brand's so jammed with talent that it's tough to spotlight all the killer duos week in and week out. Beyond the Wyatt Six, SmackDown rolls with DIY, the Motor City Machine Guns, the Street Profits, Fraxiom, and Los Garza. All except Fraxiom and Los Garza have held gold before. Sliding 1 or 2 of those squads to Raw would breathe life into the red brand's weak tag picture. The Judgment Day hasn't put their belts on the line in nearly 2 months. Number 3, lock in Rey Fenix's weekly spot. One of the biggest letdowns on SmackDown in 2025 has been the spotty rollout for Rey Fenix. He burst in right before WrestleMania 41 with massive hype, even stepping up at the event to cover for an banged-up Rey Mysterio against El Grande Americano. He's bounced through random scraps all year and got tossed into the overcrowded tag ranks alongside the fresh-off-release Andrade. The pair chased the titles in a TLC war at SummerSlam. Fenix vanished for weeks after, only to pop back up gunning for Sami Zayn's US crown. Just hand him a match or a quick backstage hit every episode instead of letting him fade into the background for stretches. Number 4, pump up Julia's star power. SmackDown's habit of spotty booking hits hard with certain talents, and Julia's a prime example. She landed in NXT and then SmackDown amid sky-high buzz. After a quick NXT run, she hit the blue brand and snatched the women's US title from Zelina Vega, but her champ days have fallen flat, stuck scrapping with Vega and Michin. Michin's a solid pick, but B-Fab doesn't scream title main event. With the division running thin right now, these matchups haven't lifted her or the belt. Roxanne Perez and Alexa Bliss would make killer clashes for the beautiful madness. The bookers also skip her most weeks. She usually sneaks in a backstage drop before ghosting for a few shows. It's tough for crowds to root for the Japanese standout if she's not a steady face on SmackDown. Number 5, rebuild Solo Sikoa like OG Bloodline days. Back in the day, Solo Sikoa looked like a lock for WWE World Champion status as the Bloodline's quiet enforcer. When the group splintered and he built his own crew, it seemed like his ticket to the main event. Instead, he dropped every high-stakes bout, including 2 gut punches to Cody Rhodes. Solo 8 pins from Roman Reigns in both War Games and Tribal Combat. Snagging the United States title barely moved the needle. He lost more than he won. To make him a real future force, the creative team needs to feed him key wins and spotlight moments against solid rivals. He also has to shine solo as a singles act, not just herd a faction. The Rock had a shocking reason for not appearing at Wrestlepalooza. Inside sources raised eyebrows over The Rock's no-show at Wrestlepalooza. The premium live event launched WWE's fresh tie-up with ESPN. Wrestlepalooza marked a turning point in WWE's story, with all US premium live events now streaming on ESPN. This week on Sportskeeda's Legion of Raw, inside sources hinted at deep political fights brewing inside World Wrestling Entertainment. They pointed out the ESPN pact as a game-changer for the company, and in a perfect world, they'd have rolled out the final boss for the spotlight. The veteran noted that even with his packed days, the Hollywood powerhouse had jumped in for big debuts on FOX and Netflix before. To him, The Rock skipping this felt like a sign of real backstage friction. There's so much stuff going on behind the scenes that we don't have a clue about. My God, bro, do you know how huge the ESPN relationship is? Perhaps the biggest relationship they've ever had. If The Rock was going to be in any premiere show, it would be this one. Rock was at the premiere on Fox, Rock was on the premiere of Netflix. This is huge. And Rock is a sports guy. The fact that he was not a part of this speaks volumes. The Rock hasn't hit WWE TV since Elimination Chamber. There, he sparked John Cena's villain switch. But after that, he stayed away, letting Cena's dark turn fizzle out until the company dropped the whole thing a few months back. It'll be a thrill to catch when the final boss crashes back into WWE. Triple H and the WWE are punishing Drew McIntyre for attending Vince McMahon's birthday party. The old WWE head Vince McMahon hit 80 last month and threw a bash with close pals and family. Word is, a bunch of WWE stars showed up at the private get-together in New York City's Gotham Hall. Ex-commentator Jonathan Coachman figures Triple H and the creative squad have been hitting Drew McIntyre and John Cena hard over the past month, all because they went to the party. The Scottish Warrior and the Cenation Leader both took tough losses in their fights at Wrestlepalooza this past weekend. Drew McIntyre couldn't shake Cody Rhodes from the top spot despite all the talk, and John Cena got flattened by Brock Lesnar in a total mismatch. Right after the event, the coach jumped on X, asking if the Scottish Warrior had ticked off the bosses since he'd been dropping most of his big rivalries. On Coach and Bro Live, Jonathan Coachman voiced real worries that anyone at Vince McMahon's birthday party got slammed with bad booking, using Cena and McIntyre's defeats as proof. Anybody that was at that birthday party either has not been pushed in the last month. Drew McIntyre was there. John Cena was there. What does their last month look like? Pulling the Boston show away from Cena, beating Drew McIntyre clean after he made those comments. Are those coincidences? Coachman said. After that crushing defeat from Brock Lesnar, it looks like the bad blood between the two is done for now, at least short term. Brian Alvarez from Wrestling Observer Live said WWE isn't lining up another clash between Cena and Brock anytime soon. That leaves the big question. What's next for John Cena? The Cenation Leader isn't booked for Raw or SmackDown before Crown Jewel, but the 48-year-old icon already sowed the seeds for his coming fight. Last night, he hit X to ask if fans wanted to see him tangle with AJ Styles one final time. In a follow-up tweet, he nudged Triple H to lock in a match between them. Once the Phenomenal One took up the challenge, Triple H sealed the deal, announcing the old rivals will square off at WWE Crown Jewel on October 20th in Australia. The WWE is taking the Women's Championship off Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton holds the WWE Women's Championship on SmackDown and steps up to defend it on the next episode of the Blue Brand. The Stamford crew locked in that she'll battle Jade Cargill and Nia Jax in a triple threat showdown, but fresh twists point to the buff Barbie dropping the gold soon. Here's 3 clear clues that WWE's stripping the title from Stratton on Friday night SmackDown. While scrapping with Jade Cargill on SmackDown, Tiffany hit a rough patch trying a moonsault outside the ring. She came down wrong, and word spread that she wasn't cleared by docs. This mess might explain why her title defense landed on the next SmackDown instead of Wrestlepalooza. Given the hurt, WWE could yank the belt from the buff Barbie and sideline her for some healing time. Tiffany Stratton's headaches ramped up when WWE tossed Nia Jax into the title mix. The irresistible force already smashed Stratton on SmackDown, and it looks like Jax might crash the beef between Jade and Tiffany to eat the pin. Even with the likely belt drop, the company wants to shield Tiffy. That's probably why they looped in Jax, letting her take the fall for the title flip, with the Storm possibly grabbing the new crown. For months, crowds have waited for a clash between Bianca Belair and the ex-AEW standout, and it hasn't hit yet. Throwing Jade into the title scrap feels like WWE's paving the way to name her champ and tee up that dream war of the EST against the Storm. Right now, Cargill plays the good guy, and if she boots Tiffany Stratton from the throne, WWE could flip Belair to villain mode. That sets up the Triple H creative squad for a title tilt between Belair and Jade. All these hints scream that Tiffy time wraps on the next Friday night show, where she's set to cough up the title. TNA Wrestling is investigating Masha Slamovich for domestic violence allegations. Total Non-Stop Action Wrestling is digging into serious claims against former TNA Knockouts world champion Masha Slamovich, according to John Alba from Sports Illustrated. Masha, whose real name is Anna Kozina, joined TNA back in 2019 and quickly became one of the toughest knockouts to ever hit the ring there. She's gone toe-to-toe with big names like Mickie James, Jordynne Grace, Tasha Steelz, Naomi, and others, climbing all the way to the top. She even popped up on a few NXT episodes and went after the TNA Knockouts World Championship at Heatwave this summer. Her last bout was on the September 5th episode of Impact Wrestling, and she might stay out of TNA or WWE action for a stretch. The 27-year-old wrestler faces domestic abuse accusations from a close friend of her ex, Akira, whose real name is Alexander Atkinson. John Alba from Sports Illustrated dropped the update earlier today after chatting with TNA. He shared screenshots from an ex account at Death Samurai ZN, claiming they show texts between Kozina and Atkinson. New. TNA tells me it has opened an internal investigation after allegations of domestic abuse against former Knockouts world champion Masha Slamovich surfaced on social media on Tuesday. More. Down arrow. TNA. John Alba wrote on X. Alba's piece says TNA is running its own probe. The account posting those private texts belongs to a buddy of Atkinson. So far, the photos haven't been checked out, but the tweet links to 114 supposed pieces of proof. Nothing's locked in from TNA's look into it yet, but another group has already moved fast while waiting for answers. Masha Slamovich was lined up for Prestige Wrestling's Prestige Roseland 12, one of the indie outfit's last 4 events before it shuts down. This hit just hours after Atkinson, posting from his X handle at the Akira Way, reacted to the news in total shock. The indie wrestler said his friend sat on it for months because he begged her to hold back, and he might have never learned the full story if she hadn't stepped up. Neither Anthem Sports and Entertainment, Total Non-Stop Action Wrestling, nor Masha Slamovich has come out with any word on the claims yet. The WWE confirms Joe Hendry has signed with the company. WWE has quietly locked in a big name to its roster after months of talk about where he'd land next. On the recent NXT episode, ex-TNA champion Joe Hendry popped up in the NXT locker room shot, a dead giveaway he's finally on board with the worldwide powerhouse. Hendry's been showing up more and more on NXT lately, so folks have been guessing he's already inked a WWE deal. A fresh report even said the 37-year-old would turn into a full-timer for the Stamford squad by early 2026. Just hours back, the company dropped a clip of NXT's locker room that included him with the crew. It's not a straight shout-out from Triple H or Shawn Michaels, but it seals the deal that Hendry's now under the Global Giants wing. Of all his spots, the one that hit hardest was at WrestleMania 41, where Joe Hendry stepped out to a wild crowd against Randy Orton. A few months ago, in a Sportskeeda chat, Hendry looked back with pride on that night, saying he was honored to carry TNA and its World Championship on the grandest stage of them all. It was unbelievable to be involved in Randy Orton's 20th WrestleMania, an absolute legend in the business, awesome to work with, and yeah, I was very fortunate to be in that position. I was thankful to Randy, to TNA, and WWE for all collaborating and allowing that to happen. And yeah, it wasn't the result I wanted, but we got the TNA World Championship in front of the crowd at WrestleMania, which was an unprecedented situation. Even though the Mania bout was a quick squash, Hendry won over crowds and likely tipped WWE into making him a steady part of the team. TNA invades NXT. TNA crashed into NXT tonight. The two sides exploded into a wild brawl to end the show. WWE and TNA just teamed up in a new partnership, cracking open chances for stars to mix it up across brands. That's led to TNA talents like Mike Santana, Joe Hendry, Moose, and others jumping into NXT action. Plenty of WWE names have shown up on TNA shows too. Trick Williams even became the first full-time WWE guy to grab the TNA World Championship, but that wasn't enough for him. He had his sights locked on Obafemi's NXT title. Last week, Trick busted up the Grayson Waller effect, so the host fired back by booking a title-for-title match for tonight. That call didn't sit right with a bunch of TNA wrestlers. All night, big TNA names lurked around backstage. Folks like Moose, Matt Cardona, Sia Brookside, Steve Macklin, Billy Kay, and more even blended into the crowd for the main event. Mike Santana slid onto commentary duty. In the match, Trick charged at Santana, and the two started swinging hard. That sparked a flood of TNA stars piling into the ring, pulling the NXT crew rushing in to fight back. The whole place turned into a huge melee. Ricky Saints and Obafemi stared each other down right in the middle as the chaos raged behind them to wrap the night. TNA's raid on NXT had been building for weeks, ever since the talents got fed up that a WWE star like Trick Williams held their top prize. Tonight, they made it clear. No one's pushing them around. After the takeover, Matt Hardy hit social media to drive it home that TNA Wrestling came to play for real. Told you, this is TNA meant business tonight. No more BS. We'll have to watch close to see where this brand vs. brand war heads next. Deepest condolences to Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair, one half of the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, just faced a deep personal loss. She shared the gut-wrenching news of losing a close family friend. The Queen has endured tough times before. She lost her younger brother, Reed Flair, at just 25 years old. She also recently split from Andrade after nearly 5 years together. Not long ago, Charlotte Flair took to Instagram to reveal the sudden passing of her longtime best friend, Brittany Zahn. She poured out her heart in a touching tribute and posted several throwback photos with her. I remember driving down 485 in my parents' car, nervous. I didn't know any of the girls who would be there. The only name I recognized was Brittany Zahn from Charlotte Catholic, the outside hitter no one at PDS could stop. She had just moved from Louisville, Kentucky, and everyone was saying she was the best player in the state. My parents wanted me to try out for the same team, Charlotte Elite. One of the parents told them this was the team to be on, and that Brittany was the girl they were going to build it around. We both made the team. A week later, since I didn't have my license yet, Brittany offered me a ride to practice. She's been my best friend ever since. We were inseparable. My family loved Brittany as their own. Flair added, "We both lost our little brothers, but even in her seemingly perfect world, that kind of devastation was unthinkable. Still, she carried it with grace. I was just telling her how we had our whole lives ahead of us, how we could be whoever we wanted to be. I never expected a world without her, until I see you again. I love you, Zon. Charlotte Flair's shining bright as a WWE Women's Tag Team Champion alongside Alexa Bliss. They're locked in a heated feud with Chelsea Green's Secret Service. On the September 19th, 2025 episode of SmackDown, Flair and Bliss held onto their tag titles against Chelsea Green and Alba Fire, with Piper Niven noticeably missing from the show. Fightful Select reports she's battling a serious neck injury. While Niven's out, Green's hunting for a new teammate to join the Secret Service in their mission to take down Bliss and Flair. Who'll step into that spot? We'll find out soon enough. Jey Uso betrays Cody Rhodes for the WWE title. Jey Uso's story keeps twisting in wild ways every week. The Yeet Master has grown from a fun, one-note crowd pleaser on WWE TV into someone deep and full of surprises. Over the last year, fans started second-guessing him, and now that doubt runs deep. His path kicked off as a tag team legend, then he pushed back against Roman Reigns while building his solo game. He bent and became the right-hand man, but broke free to stand alone, away from family, Reigns, and Jimmy Uso. He grabbed singles gold, turned into the Yeet Man, won the Royal Rumble, and took the World Heavyweight Championship from Gunther at WrestleMania. But after dropping that title, Jey couldn't shake the sting. He couldn't climb back to the peak, and it ate at him. His ego swelled, doubts crept in, he wrecked his fresh start with Jimmy, and he pointed fingers at anyone. CM Punk, LA Knight, you name it. Bottom line, Use is spiraling hard, and Jimmy, in a twist that fits just right, seems to pull out Jey's darkest side. This week on Raw, undisputed WWE Champion Cody Rhodes hit the red brand to kick things off. He ran into World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins, and their back and forth crackled with fire. They unpacked old beefs, sized up now, and claimed the throne for what's coming. As WWE's two top champs with a loaded history and a hot new vibe, their road to Crown Jewel's main event screams must-watch. But Rhodes showing up also lit up another Raw spark, Cody and Jey. The American Nightmare pulled Jey Uso to Raw back in 2023. He handed Jey a shot to prove himself, fix his path, and truly earn the main event tag. Cody and Jey didn't just snag tag gold that year, they fought side by side in war games, flipping from enemies to rock-solid partners and close pals. Fresh off his WrestleMania loss to John Cena, Cody took a month off, then stormed back to rescue Jey from Logan Paul and Cena at Saturday night's main event. At Money in the Bank, they linked up against Logan Paul and then undisputed WWE champion John Cena. Keep in mind, Jey held gold then, Cody didn't. No envy, no hunger, just teamwork. But now the shoe's on the other foot, and everything's flipped. Jey lost his belt to Gunther on the Raw right after MITB. A few weeks on, they crossed paths in the King of the Ring semifinals. Winner got a world title crack at SummerSlam. Cody took it and reclaimed the undisputed WWE Championship from Cena at the Big Show. Jey, meanwhile, tangled with the Vision, teaming with CM Punk, Sami Zayn, and Roman Reigns at different spots, all laced with drama. With Reigns sidelined from Clash in Paris, Zayn jumping to SmackDown, his beef with LA Knight boiling over, and him clashing with CM Punk after Reigns heads up, Jey needed backup. It came from his twin, Jimmy. When Jimmy couldn't steady Jey's wild head, Cody's visit pushed Big Jim to pull in the American Nightmare for support. This week on Raw, Cody doubled down on his trust in Jey and tried to guide him past the sting of failure, be it the Vision or chasing that title shine again. But Jey knows the rush of standing tall, and now it's all he craves. That fuels ego, cockiness, broken bonds, snapping at Jimmy, and a burning drive to hit the top and lock it down. No need to spell out who that echoes. It's boiling over into zero chill. Last night on Raw, as Cody reached out to steady Jey, his eyes kept sliding elsewhere, the undisputed WWE Championship belt. He couldn't care less about battling the Vision, grabbing tag gold with Jimmy after all these years, or even linking with his brother. Truth is, chasing tag belts, especially with Jimmy, might feel like a step back to him, a slap of the old days he's turned his back on. He skips the wisdom, dodges the talks. All that's left is a world title strapped on. If it's not the World Heavyweight Championship, the undisputed WWE one will do. Bonds, right and wrong, all that fades fast for Jey Uso. His hunger and scramble shove him into shadows. Jimmy's jump in only amps it, and his old warnings, plus that stab at SummerSlam, hit different now. Here's what he told Jey while owning his moves at SummerSlam 2023. Jimmy betrayed Jey because he's jealous. I did what I did at SummerSlam not because of jealousy, Use. You really want to know? Man, I was afraid. All right, I was afraid to lose you. I would never be able to live, Use, if I let you and watch you become an egotistical, lying, manipulative a hole like Roman Reigns. Maybe Jimmy read his brother and their bloodline better than the doubters who ripped that swerve. Jey answered by dropping Roman with a super kick, nailing Jimmy, and walking out of WWE. Then Cody Rhodes lured him to Raw. Now this could flip everything for these players if Jey goes full heel on Cody. Maybe at Crown Jewel, he might slide back to SmackDown, gunning for Rhodes and the WWE Championship. WWE's fumbled these threads before, but this could stand as one of their sharpest yarns in years. Jey Uso's arc started as a breakout from family chains, carving his own lane, pulling off the impossible, all with a grin and yeets as the ultimate comeback kid of today. But now it veers sharp. A guy who sees family as a chain to drag, guard, and smash past. Why? To feed his pride. It's a rush of endless want, wild drive, and a fall from overreach. It's history looping back. Uso tumbling like Roman Reigns, dragged down by ego, swagger, and family-fueled greed.